Hello, everyone. My name is Chastity, aka the Luminary Luna Beams,
And I'm Emily, the fine art medium.
and we're two mediums that specialize in the paranormal. Our purpose is to shed light on what goes bump in the night. That's why we call this YouTube channel podcast
Lights midnight.
Lamb.
Bing.
All right, guys. So today we are starting our educational content back up because we've been doing a lot of reactions and we enjoy doing those reactions. But I feel like we're getting a little far away from our roots here. Okay. We have a lot of content in season one. There's 60 hours of content. We talk about a lot of stuff. 30 episodes. So what we want to do is we want to break down this content and give it to you in like snack size, and that way, if you wanted to, you can watch these videos, learn a little something, and go check out season one either via YouTube, which is audio only, or you can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Audible. Like, we're everywhere, pretty much. You type in the Lights of Midnight podcast, you shall find us. So if you want to get more in depth in the subject, that's where you can go. But today, what we're going to talk about is what is an origin of a haunting. Okay, that's one of the things we're going to talk about. And why is it important? Okay, and we're going to talk about the difference between haunted person, haunted place, and haunted object. So ultimately, in this video, we are going to try to help you guys discern the difference. It seems obvious, but by determining the origin, you can understand where your haunting comes from.
But
Yes.
also, the importance of finding the origin will help you get rid of the problem. Because if you do all the cleansing stuffs, but you don't get rid of the problem is just going to keep happening.
Yep. You got to find the origin. And that's something that was not taught to us. We learned that through our spooky experiences. Um, we really haven't had any teachers. We are experience-based learners. And we have picked up stuff from other places, but a lot of this has really come from hard work and dedication to the paranormal and spiritual community, with the goal of helping 2/3 of the American population believes in the paranormal or something spooky, and half of the population has experienced something paranormal. And believe it or not, I think that's on the rise as we have all these new transits with astrology and whatnot, and just where we're going and what's happening, guys. Like, things are getting super spooky. So,
Aliens.
yep. Aliens, age of Pluto in Aquarius. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But yeah, guys. So we're going to go ahead and start off with what is the origin? What is an origin? And how can we identify the origin within certain means? We're going to go just a little far into it today, but so you guys understand it. Emily, do you want to add anything to that? Do you have any notesies you want to add, or?
To what is the origin?
Yep. What do we consider the origin?
It's kind of like the point of interest. Where did it all begin? What caused it?
Right, right. And one of the things that we found 100% of the time, 99% of the time, is trauma. And people have disagreed with us in the past on this. Well, we're just a victim. Sometimes that is possible. But one thing that we've learned about the origin is your vibration. It might not just be trauma, it's a vibratory match. So if your vibe is around the same vibe of another entity or being, it can be attracted to you. That could be an origin, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have a formula: invitation plus anchor, aka vulnerability, which could be trauma, equals problem or origin.
Yeah. Yep. And it can happen for several different reasons. So the origin can come from a haunted person, a haunted place, or a haunted object. It's kind of like, some people just like to fuck around and find out type energy, which that reminds me of the Black Cauldrons YouTube channel. We like to talk about fucking around and finding out. And that's kind of what me and Emily do all the time. But, you know, in some cases are like that. Finding the origin, I know we've said it, but the origin is the most important thing. The origin can be a multitude of things. It doesn't just have to be trauma, it can just be the vibratory match. So I want to make that very clear. But trauma, 99% of the time, is something traumatic. That's what we personally have found in our work. And if you disagree with that, or you have something you want to add to that, let's start a conversation down in the comments below. And if you're new, or if you've been hanging around for a while, please go hit that subscribe button and that like button, because we, as of right now, are only 80 subscribers away from being fully monetized on our channel for our content. And that would be spectacular, because me and Emily want to use that money to go to places and investigate. So please do that for us. We're going to fold it right back into the channel, so to bring you guys more super awesome content. So I guess I'll stop there and we'll go ahead and move on into a haunted person. So,
Well, I was gonna add that these things can also commingle with one another. So you can have a haunted place or a haunted object that can become a haunted person via an attachment.
true. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways, really. It's and they can kind of, yeah, mingle together. They can collab together. They collab. So haunted person, easy enough. A person that experiences supernatural, paranormal things, no matter where they are. So if you're a person that is haunted, it's not the location. You can move away and stuff will still follow you, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you can find, generally you find that with people that have brighter lights or deeper rooted trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, to me, a haunted person is the same thing as an attachment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And would you like to tell the fine folks about attachments? You have anything you want to talk about there very fast?
Well, I mean, I think you kind of covered it all, but it's like, yes, it's invitation plus vulnerability, which can be trauma, but it can also be fear, and it can be the person's um vibratory match and or the energy that they put out that can attract things.
Yes. And attachments are emotional bonds between, and when it comes to a earthbound spirit, it can be emotional trauma bonds, or it can be the likeliness of you, or the likeness of you that reminds the spirit of someone in their life. So that's how this is. And then, you know, the invitation, but also entertaining. You can become a haunted person by entertaining spirits. So, you know, if you think about it, entertaining spirits is when you continually communicate through, and that is part of invitation, because you can break down each one of these in a multi-level of subjects. But haunted person generally can be very sensitive. Like, I would consider myself a haunted person. Everywhere that I moved, there was something, right? But don't make it as a label for yourself. This is just a point of identification to help you understand potentially where, if you are, or if you were to have any haunting experiences or any issues, to know kind of rooted in where it came from. I messed with a Ouija board at 12. We talk about some of these experiences in episode 3 and 4, and technically 5, because we did 3 episodes, a bigger one for haunted objects, which we'll get into shortly. But if you want some more of the experience-based stuff, where we talk more about that, definitely listen to episode 3 and episode 4 and episode 5 if you want to get the extended cut of Duran, Dead Serious Investigations. And I'm going to link his stuff down in the description box down below, because he has some really cool stuff going on. And he hangs out with me and Emily on YouTube sometimes too. But yep, that's pretty much haunted person for me. I don't know if you have anything else you have written down you want to add.
So in addition to like spirit communication and fucking around and finding out, you can go to locations purposely and the spirit or entity can be like, ooh, I like your energy, or ooh, this person's a great candidate to mess with and feed off of. You can also have curses and past life lessons that need to be learned.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. It could be family curses, haunted
Yeah.
person, bloodline curses,
Yeah.
to become a haunted person, or have somebody that practiced a certain type of
Oh, that's right.
darker religion or something like that in your bloodline. That, some people go through some really dark stuff that can cause you to be a haunted person.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a multitude of ways and reasons that someone could be, but that's some examples. And if you're having paranormal activity, again, you could be a haunted person. If you know of somebody in your family that used to practice a certain type of, spiritual practice or religion
Mm-hmm.
that's known to be on the spooky side.
Mm-hmm. So let's do haunted place next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the definition is a place that tends to contain paranormal activity due to several potential factors.
Yes.
I Any event that generates significant amounts of energy, particularly negative energy, can essentially leave a massive scar on the land. These events can range from natural disasters like earthquakes or floods to human induced catastrophes such as war or industrial accidents. The intense release of energy during such events can imprint negative energy onto the surroundings. Also, if you have death and spirits that don't cross over, you get earthbound spirits. And then when you have a collection of negative things like negative energy, thought forms can be created. And with that too, having an amount or a large amount of negative energy can also draw in things from other locations to feed off of. So there are many ways in which a place can become haunted.
Yes. And in my background, because we just did the Painted Lady, which y'all saw last week, that's a great example of a haunted place. You
Mhm.
go there and it's haunted. I mean, and there's just things that's happened on the land there. Haunted places, if you are a vibratory match, you can pick up your haunting from a haunted place, right? But it doesn't always have to stick, because you have people that go into the haunted location and they stay and they come back and they're just fine. Or you have people that move from house to house, and whatever stays behind because it's a part of the land. So it really just depends on what happens. So if you've been in a situation where one of your houses is haunted, right? Or you've experienced something, it's a one-off type thing. Maybe you went and spent the night with a friend. You were a victim of a haunted place. You are not a haunted person. But if you were to go to that place and then come back and continue to have paranormal experiences, then you would be identified as a haunted person. So there is a difference. Like Emily said, war, bloodshed, conjuring, spiritual practices, curses, everything, things can happen to the land. And it depends on our actions. And it can be caused again by low vibratory actions and trauma. But the difference really is when you're thinking about how you've had these haunting experiences, because a lot of people sit around and think like, why did this happen to me? Just wrong place, wrong time, or you fucked around and found out. I mean, that's just it. A haunted place is that it's a haunted place, but you can pick up energy. I mean, going to these haunted locations, we're subjecting ourselves to lower vibratory energy. There's potential where we are light a lot, we have a lot of light. If you have a lot of that, you can pick the stuff up and bring it back, or it can greatly affect you there. When you go to a haunted place, you can get jumped. One of the things, knowing, I mean, in places, it really, there's a certain level here of haunted places. Like, we're talking about well-known haunted places. You could theoretically say all places are haunted, but then you're putting in a haunted person in a place that has potential. But not all places are haunted. The spirits come and go throughout. They just stick to certain places. Some places are vortexes. So places that have a lot of spiritual energy, Mount Shasta's coming to mind, right? Places like that. Or Pilot Mountain. Pilot Mountain is a place here in North Carolina that has, the ley lines. You get a lot of the ley line type energy when you go and have, or spiritual energy, because it doesn't always, everything we experience isn't spooky, right? It can be just high spiritual energy. They are on the other side. It can seem spooky. So not everything you run into in a haunted place is like low vibratory. You also have your elementals that can make a place more spooky. A haunted place doesn't have to be four walls. It can be a forest full of different elementals. You have different elemental friends.
I have many elemental friends.
Yes. Yep.
Hmm.
But yeah, haunted place, if you have had any of those things happen, like you just went somewhere and never really had an experience again, might have just been a haunted place. But keep in mind, Spirit's saying, hey, wait a minute, you can go to a haunted place and come back from that haunted place and have nightmares about that place, but still not be a haunted person.
Because you picked up that energy and it's like absorbed into your body.
Yes, it creates an energy thread.
Hey, that's me. Yep.
But yep, that's pretty much haunted place. And again, you can go back, listen to our experiences in the episode. That's kind of what we want to encourage you guys to do. If this is a subject you're just wanting to learn a little bit about, or if you want to get more in depth, you can always check out the episodes. I mean, there's so much that we're going to talk about. This is just an introductory episode to kind of see if you guys like it or not. And if you guys are enjoying this type of just kind of back and forth where we talk about things, we might even go a little further. You let us know what you guys want, but this will be incorporated from now on at least one Monday a month, maybe even two. That's what we're shooting for.
Mm-hmm.
So the next topic is haunted object, which is a beast of its own.
It is. It is an object that is haunted.
Pop up a picture of Annabelle.
I know you wanted to smack me when I said that.
Yeah, I was like, because we need definitions. But I don't even know what I wrote down. An object that has seen some shit. That's what I wrote down in my journal. What did I write? I put LOL in my journal, and it says an entity or being, energy even, that can be attracted to an object because it had seen some stuff, like traumatic events. And it reminds me of, for example, if any of you guys have watched Emily's channel and did the Selena Spooky Boo video, you have the bear. The bear had seen some shit. Okay, so the bear had seen like abuse and all that kind of stuff, and haunted objects don't have to be on the level of Annabelle. So once a person that has a low vibratory match, or I mean, not vibratory match, but has a low vibration that leaves energy shedding, they can actually put energy into that object, or they love it enough that they can put energy into an object. This is done commonly in ritualistic magic and stuff of the such. And then sometimes it's not just trauma, people do it on purpose. It's intended. Everybody probably knows the Annabelle story, right? So, there was a little girl that ended up unfortunately passing away due, I believe, to a car accident. And the entity in the area, because the ladies directed their energy and their compassion and their love and was just dumping all these empathic feelings, because Spirit's saying they were very empathic people. And they were nurses too, so that makes sense. A lot of times nurses have a lot of earth energy. You put that in the doll and it gives the entity a connection, like a thread to it. There's a common misconception that entities are in an object. Emily, would you like to tell them about that misconception and whatever you got?
So, an entity or spirit cannot possess an inanimate object because it doesn't have a consciousness to possess. Ta-da! Also,
Yes.
I want to add in Robert the Doll as an example because it's slightly different from Annabelle. So, with Robert the Doll, the little boy that had the doll loved that doll so much, he pretty much treated it like another person to where it became another person. And
Mm-hmm.
thought formy energy became it part of it, and then it pretty much developed a mind of its own, and it got really dark really
Yeah.
fast. Yeah.
And
And
that can come from a haunted person.
yep. or somebody with a lot of psychic energy,
Yep.
especially when they're children, because children have a lot of psychic energy.
Yep.
And I was gonna say too that negative entities, especially the very, very malevolent ones, can use items, objects, as kind of like bait, because the whole strategy is to be invited in someone's home or life or whatever. So they will purposely attach themselves to an object that they know will be taken in by somebody else to then oppress. And
Yes.
that's something the really, really, really malevolent entities and spirits do.
Yes, and they want to take full control of the
Mhm.
situation, and it's for many different reasons.
Yep.
Like having a haunted object in your home, things can start moving around. You can start getting very depressed out of nowhere. Being mindful of what you pick up, especially from secondhand stores, be very mindful of what you're bringing into the house. If you're called to an object and you feel like there's something there and you just like can't stop thinking about it, something's off. Something's
Yep.
messing with your mind. And you can, or you can inherit haunted objects. Like I have a haunted mirror. I will not get rid of it. It invokes like very serious depression and anger, rage fits, like out of nowhere in my household. And I have to keep that mirror covered. It sits in my living room covered.
Hmm. And
And, it's not super serious though. It's not like some of these haunted objects. But,
no.
I noticed that there was a trend. And the way that I knew this, I just want to finish this. Sorry, Emily, real quick. But in the midst of my haunting stuff coming back, like I'm pretty sure early 2020, my mirror that is haunted was in here in my room. And it was setting up on my desk. And I opened my door, as I've done 100 times before. I opened it up and looked at the mirror, and the mirror just went whoop and fell down. Did not, I thought it was going to shatter, break into 1,000 pieces. This thing's like 4 foot tall. It's a big mirror. And yeah, it just literally fell. It scared the crap out of me, like completely. I've had clients that's dealt with haunted objects, and there was some really nasty, dark energy. Again, they're all sometimes it can be a earthy, an earthy's attached to their belongings, like if they put a lot of stock in it, or from energy shedding, right? So it's not all about energy threads or and I don't know if you guys know what an energy thread is, but that's where we make a connection with something, person, place, thing, object, or something in another realm. There that we create these energy threads. It's like kind of like string theory when you get into quantum physics. That's something me and
Mhm.
Emily have been shown and talked about in episode 9, frequency, duality, and dimensions, where we did reading rainbow.
Mhm. Yep. I was gonna add on to what you just said too, like watching things, certain television programs or movies, especially if it's based off a real entity. And if you're someone like that's psychic or a medium and can tap in and you tap in, you're creating an energy thread to that
Exactly.
for
Yep.
the thing to come back.
Yep.
Mhm.
And there's just so much that we still don't understand, or we can't comprehend, even though if you believe in reincarnation or old souls. We've done, been here and come back, or at least even other places. But energy, I did write this down: energy, frequency, vibration. This Every one of these subjects, haunted person, haunted place, haunted object, all has to do with those things: frequency, energy, and vibration. So it's definitely all surrounding that. It's all, I say this all the time. It's like pages in a book to me. That's the way spirit shows me time, but it's not linear, right? It's just the easy way to describe it. And the
Mhm.
more we raise our vibration, the more we ascend, the more
Mhm.
lighter the heavy stuff falls away. It's given, think about this too, our heavy stuff's given back to the earth to retransmute. And you have all this quartz in certain places, talking about haunted places. It can hold those memories and hold that energy. Even if it's lab grown quartz, it's in your phone, like it's everywhere, because of its conductive and memory holding abilities to my best of knowledge. I'm not a scientist or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. I just like to read Google.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, haunted objects are a beast of their own. I've seen some of the nastiest stuff come out of haunted objects.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird.
I had a haunted mattress.
Yeah. And that's because of the energy shedding and the residual energy that was in it. It became an object where Emily is more so a physical medium. She could pick up on that energy resonance of the things that happened in traumatic incidents on the mattress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and in that episode, if you listen to it, it's more experience based. And we determined, like, we tried to like section it out, but really looking back on that, you can have all three things going on at one time, right? But hopefully, I mean, we could go on and on about it, and maybe one day we'll break each one of these subjects down individually. But finding the origin of your haunting and understanding where it comes from, most of the time, it's related to something negative that has happened, low vibrational at some point. And sometimes it's positive things. You can walk in some places and they're not necessarily haunted, they're highly spiritual and sacred. So our vibration and the way you carry yourself from day to day is super important. Your vibration's low, you can become a haunted person. If your vibration's low, you can have a haunting experience in a haunted place. And if your vibration maybe even be high, messing with a haunted object, and just not know any better, and it can lower your vibration. Because haunted objects for me, I will say this, it's always something really dark that can shapeshift, that messes with electronics, and it's from a very dark space. It
Mm-hmm.
is attached to these clouds of dark, the entities that are involved. They
Mm-hmm.
always look like our fears, and they switch faces like facets of humans. I don't fully understand it, but that's what I can tell you about haunted objects.
I think it has to do with the objects holding those or that type of energy of just like life energy of a person's life, and then it becoming a thought form. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that is not residual are more diabolical
Yeah.
because they have to convince you to get that object, especially if you're
Mm-hmm.
getting it in a second hand. Remember, it's a strategy. They want someone to pick that item, so they're going to pick somebody that has enough extrasensory perception to feel that connection to want that object. That's why you'll see a lot of hauntings and things occur to people with some sort of extrasensory ability.
Yep. And we all have access to this extrasensory type perception to a degree, but we all have to use it in different ways. So not everybody can be taught to be a psychic medium. Not everybody's meant to be a psychic medium. That's just part of it. You're not, I mean, you could do readings for yourself. You might do them for the public. We have free will. We can make those choices. Everybody can use their own intuition, their own discernment, their own psychic abilities to make better choices in their life. And, you'll know because the paranormal chose me. I was a haunted person and I had to take care of that. And some people could still consider me being a haunted person, and with the darker stuff, it's like attached to a cloud. It's almost like a realm for the
Mm-hmm.
haunted objects. It's like the darker haunted objects. They're like tentacle beings that I know this sounds really weird. Okay, bear with me. But I seriously see like a cord attached to these beings to a degree coming from this larger mass of darkness. So is it like it's obviously other dimensional, but this just like a collection of negativity, and it has a purpose and it has a function. And I really do think it's something kind of, I don't want to say spacey themed, like out here in our space realm dimension, but it's something that harvests our energy for a reason. But I could go on about that, and eventually I think I'm going to continue refining that until I come to my answer. Will it always stay the same? Probably not. But haunted objects are definitely very different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, haunted places can be too. It's like that same clouds of darkness, they can creep in through the layers, through the veil. And a haunted person, you're attached sometimes to those layers and to that veil. And it's all about cutting those cords. Cords. So we had a quick intermission there, and we told you guys that every time we talk about haunted objects, electronical interferences happen. And long enough for me to get cookies and milk. It's my birthday. I do what I want.
Wait, you also know what a common factor is every time this has happened?
What?
We mentioned Duran's name.
ASMR cookies in Duran's name equals no internet.
Yeah.
Judge me. I'm almost done. Anyways, guys, I think it's a good place to end it. After internet failure and haunted objects, an origin again, Emily. You want to talk about the origin, or do you want me to say it?
I'm thinking about cookies right now and bananas.
Okay, so yeah, bananas are definitely on my mind. That's what she said. This is why we don't stay on too long. We don't stay on video too long because eventually it gets crazy. So your origin of your haunting comes from rooted trauma, fucking around and finding out, like getting in trouble with the paranormal world, ritualistic behavior. It can come from a lot of things. Low vibration, wrong
Psychic
place, wrong
abilities.
psychic abilities. Yep. Wrong place, wrong time. And those all fit in haunted person, haunted place, haunted object. So we lightly touched on each one of those. We don't want to give everybody reading rainbow moments. Some of you probably definitely know what we're talking about if you've heard these episodes or from somebody else even before. But we just wanted to quickly touch on what is the origin, haunted person, haunted place, haunted object. So maybe you can help determine, in case you're ever in that situation or you deal with paranormal activity, kind of where it comes from. Because Emily and I, we pretty much went through our haunted stuff ourselves and we were able to work it out. Is that going to be everybody's case? Absolutely not. But we encourage people to empower themselves with knowledge.
Knowledge is power and helps erase fear.
Yep. And that's the biggest thing, is to, I guess, make the paranormal normal, because it really truly is.
I see dead people everywhere. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
I see dead people.
Yes, I do.
All right, guys, I guess that's where we're going to end it. And we'll probably revisit this subject maybe if you want again. We've got a bunch of subjects we want to cover. We just kind of wanted to put our toes in the water and see exactly how you guys and what exactly you guys want to hear from us. Let us know some subjects down in the comments below that you want to talk about, and we will talk about them. But we will continue to go through season 1 and talk about different subject matters. Subject matters.
Word to Big Bird.
Wordy dirt dirt. All right, guys. Until next time, peace out.
Peace out.
Hey, if you have a haunted story you want to share, you can email us at lightsatmidnightpodcast@gmail.com. Get in touch with us there. We'd love to hear from you. We really appreciate y'all hanging around and checking it out. And yeah, thank you so much. We are super excited to bring you some super awesome content. We really appreciate you guys checking us out.
Thank you to all that took the time to listen to this week's episode. Your support means the world to us. And remember, all of us have the ability to shine brightly and shed positivity, even in the darkest of places. Stay safe, stay well, and light it up!